three more properties here. These are properties of congruence. The first one is the reflexive property of congruence. And it says that if figure A is congruent to figure A, then the segments are going to be congruent. So their example is segment EF is congruent to segment EF. So each side would be congruent to each other if the figures are congruent. Symmetric property of congruence says that if figure A is congruent to figure B, then figure B is congruent to figure A. So basically you can flip them around in a different order. So their example, if the measure of angle 1 is congruent to the measure of angle 2, then the measure of angle 2 is congruent to the measure of angle 1. And the transitive property of congruence says that if figure A is congruent to figure B and figure B is congruent to figure C, then figure A is congruent to figure C. So you can use that reasoning there to make that last statement. So if segment PQ is congruent to segment RS and segment RS is congruent to segment TU, then we know that segment PQ and TU are congruent. So for the last example, we are just going to be identifying which property they are saying here. So the first one, the measure of angle 1 is equal to the measure of angle 1. So if I look up here, the one that stays the same in the examples would be the reflexive property of congruence. And segment XY is congruent to segment VW, so VW is congruent to XY. So that's just flipping their order, so that would be the symmetric property of congruence. And angle ABC is congruent to angle ABC. So those are the same. No orders changed. So we can say that that is the top one as well. Reflexive property of congruence. And our last one, the angle 1 is congruent to angle 2, and angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. So then angle 1 is congruent to angle 3. So looking back at our chart there, that would be the last one, the transitive property of congruence.